Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana and today we're gonna go ahead and continue the series on the 12 houses of astrology. So I know I'm super overdue for a video, but I mean in the last 3 months so much has happened. I got a new job. I started school again, so I've been like super busy. I'm definitely going to commit to getting on a plan where I upload routinely. Not being a Sagittarius, having so much Sagittarius energy, I definitely pride myself on, going to school and working hard at it. So once the semester is over, I should be uploading more routinely. And then my birthday is next month too, so I'm like planning for that. We're going to discuss the 4th house of astrology. The 4th house is one of the most important houses, but before I go any further, I do want to let you guys know that if you don't know your birth chart or haven't seen a birth chart or haven't heard about what a birth chart is, you need to know your time of birth to even include the 12 houses in your astrological learnings. So look below and there are some links to the websites where you can find your natal chart. It's going to have you put some information into a calculator and it will design it for you. And then what you can do is look at the place where it says IC, because that's going to be the cusp of your 4th house and what sign that is in, if there's any planets in that little area. And go from there, because that's what we're going to be discussing from today. Today I'm actually not going to go deeply into what the signs on the IC mean. So if your IC is in Cancer, Virgo, Gemini, whatever, I'm not really going to discuss that. I'm going to save that information for a separate series where I'll just go over the IC. Today, more or less, I'm going to focus in on the planets of the 4th house, what it means to have no planets in the 4th house, and a stellium of planets, and go from there, just to kind of give you guys, you 4th housers, a general idea of what certain planets can mean. But it's basically represents your childhood development, all of the nurturing that you received from your parents when you were in uncomfortable situations. The 4th house is where how you can tell what the 4th house is, how you are when you're at home, when you get comfortable with somebody. It's ruled by the moon naturally, and the moon also represents that, right? The moon is your soul, and so is the 4th house. The 4th house is how you, when shit hits the fan, what you do, how you get comfortable again, who you go to. It's all about your private self, your innermost deepest being. It's your roots, it's your home life. If you remember back when you were a child, how do you remember your home life? Your 4th house will tell you that. But do you remember it being full of family parties and big dinners at Christmases, or do you remember it being kind of shitty and dark and some place that you don't really want to remember? Did it suck? Do you remember yourself being poor and trying to help out your parents? It's important for people to have a 4th house so that they can, a healthy 4th house, I should say, so that they can recharge and then go on about their life to their, daily routine. It's really all about self-development. And it's important to have a healthy one, or if you didn't have a healthy, memory of your home when you were younger, it's important that you strive towards, healing that so that you can be comfortable in all areas of your life. Because the 4th house, if you don't have a good 4th house, it's going to affect your relationships, it's going to affect your career and all of that. Well, actually, let's talk about having no planets in the 4th house. If you don't have any planets in the 4th house, that's okay. I have no planets in the 4th house. My 4th house is in, my IC is in Cancer though. So the ruler of Cancer is the moon, so I'd have to look at where the moon falls, in what house and what sign, to give me a little bit more information about what my home life was like. The sun in your 4th house, the sun is obviously your ego. So like I said before, anywhere that the sun is, you want to mix So if the sun is in your 4th house, you're going to have Cancer traits automatically, and just mix that with your sign, and that's pretty much going to be a huge part of your identity. So if you have your sun in the 4th house, yeah, you're gonna have characteristics of being moody, of being a homebody, of being surrounded by things that make you feel super comfortable all the time. You might be a little bit fearful of stepping out and, you know, learning new things, stepping out of your shell to face the world, because maybe your home life, your parents, maybe they were a little bit overprotective of you. They provided you with so much care and so much nurture. They kind of didn't want to let you put yourself in risky situations. So they took care of you in that sense. And now when shit hits the fan, you get really scared and you don't know how to confront your problems because of you know, having that 4th house energy. The sun is really the 4th house, sun in the 4th house will also mean that because your parents nurtured you so much, later on in your life, you will be super thankful for that, and you're going to be protective of your family, protective of your roots. You value your family like no other, and if you're a woman, you're especially going to be looking for that in a man, you know, really family oriented, and who can protect you. Okay, let's talk about the moon. The moon in the 4th house, you have emotional ties to your home, obviously related. You kind of, if the moon in the 4th house, because you tie so much emotional value to all of your childhood memories, it can kind of be like you have a hard, in life, you're gonna have a hard time letting go of anybody that you attach yourself to, because the moon is also a huge part of your, it's a luminary in your, it's a luminary planet in your chart, and it's going to hold a lot of presence. It's going to make it seem like you almost have your moon in Cancer. You may have emotional ties to your mom a lot. You may be a mama's boy, or like, you know, have a really good strong relationship to your mom. You definitely were, like with the sun, you were definitely overly nurtured. In this case, I would say you were overly nurtured by your mom, or you had a really strong motherly figure. You know, your mom always took care of you, like, you know, hey babe, are you hungry? Do you need anything? And she kind of always put you before her. Like, moon in the 4th house always tells me, unless it's like conflicted by something else, that your mother figure was really strong, and she kind of babied you. And almost, if there's other aspects, if she babied you a lot, it could make you a little bit dependent, and you would have a hard time being independent in this world. House can bless you with memories of just having a really beautiful home. It could bless you with just having memories of having, you know, lots of like love in your household. Maybe you witnessed your parents and they were like super, you know, lovey-dovey. In that, you know, in life you can have the way that you make money could be through real estate. You can have a nice home. You probably will spend a lot of time decorating your home with beautiful portraits of things. It could mean that your mom or the parent that was closest to you was really beautiful. Be the stay-at-home type with your lover, and you really want a homey relationship with Venus in the 4th house. So Venus in the 4th house, since Venus is feminine, it could also, along with the moon, it could mean that in your memories of your childhood, your roots, the memories of your childhood, they could be just with you were surrounded with a lot of women. Like you had a lot of like aunts and your aunts and cousins that are female in your home life. Okay, Mercury in the 4th house, it could mean a few things. It could mean that your home life was full. Your home life had parents that were really, really smart. Maybe your memories of your home when you were younger were those of, you know, a lot of discussions, like family dinner discussions. Maybe your home was surrounded with lots of books, or one of your parents was into technology, reading about genealogy and like your ancestors, you know, really digging deep and learning about where you came from. House. So Mars in the 4th house, it could mean that your home life was full of disputes and anger. Maybe your parents would fight a lot, or you would witness a lot of fights. So it could really mean that, you know, digging into your private self when shit hits the fan is a little bit uncomfortable. You don't like to, you know, get too comfortable because you're afraid of some dispute or some fight happening. Like, a violent parent, one of your parents, maybe the male was really abusive, maybe sexually abusive or physically abusive, or, you know, it could also mean that you have just a lot of memories of having, or you witnessed a lot of, not that they were sexually abusive to you, but you just witnessed a lot of sexuality at an early age with Mars in the 4th house. Or it could also mean that you were just in a house or have memories of just being around men all the time, since men is the masculine. So Jupiter in the 4th house, Jupiter in the 4th house is beautiful because that would mean that you, of course, were overly nurtured by your parents or by all of your family. Maybe your memories include those of having large meals at family parties, having an overabundance of things. Maybe your house was super big. You've always had a lot of like space with Jupiter in the 4th house. Maybe your parents gave you a lot of space. Maybe your mom, one of your parents was like super smart. Maybe they were like a professor or something. They were some type of like comical, funny person, you know, they had like an out of character personality. And in the 4th house, with Saturn in the 4th house, it could mean that you had strict parents. And earlier when I said overprotective parents, that doesn't really mean strict. That would mean strict. I would mean that like maybe your house had a lot of rules, and your parents really stuck to those rules, and they were really serious parents, almost like they scared you into following their orders. There was a lot of obeying. The parents had some type of like disability. Maybe for Saturn, I would think maybe more the father, but depends. Some type of resentment towards the family. Or also with Saturn in the 4th house, maybe you were surrounded by a lot of older people in your early childhood memories. Older people that try to teach. In the 4th house, you may have confusion about where you came from. Like you may not know where you came from. You may have been like adopted or something. Have like a distorted representation of what parents are. Maybe your parents were free, loving. Maybe your parents weren't there for you. They weren't there to teach you discipline, to tell you when you shouldn't or you should do something, to tell you what was okay and what was not okay. So all of that was confusing. You kind of had to parent yourself in a way with Neptune in the 4th house. Maybe your parents weren't there because they were like on drugs or on shrooms somewhere, and you were just left figuring shit out on your own house because you didn't have a solid representation of what a home life should be or what a healthy home life should be. Or you felt like your parents were more friends, not actual parents. So your parents maybe let you throw parties at your house all the time. Maybe they you know, were party animals, and they kind of just let you do you. You know, maybe they felt like they were young still, and didn't really discipline you like they needed. Your home life was destroyed a little bit by like natural disasters. A lot of the times, a lot of unexpected shit happened at your house that forced you to move a lot. If you had like a military lifestyle with Uranus in the 4th house, you moved a lot, and that was always unexpected. Like one of your parents was too intense and scary, and so you weren't really comfortable with them for whatever reason. With Pluto in the 4th house, maybe you were surrounded by a lot of memories of close relatives dying, and that really like tore your home life apart, because your parents didn't know, one of your parents didn't know how to cope. Also with Pluto in the 4th house, maybe there was lots of secrets and like things that are super taboo that happened in your family. So you look back now and you were like, wow, my home life, my parents, I went through some pretty weird, sketchy shit with childhood memories because of so much secrets and so much intense things that happen, that you just try to like ignore what your home life was like because it's too much for you to burden. Fourth house. When you have a stellium in your fourth house, if they are benefic planets, okay, my best friend has a stellium of the fourth house. They're mostly positive planets, and like, you know, Jupiter, Venus, you know, Mercury, things like that. And what that means, what I've observed, when you have a stellium in any house for that matter, it's important that you try to reach out to the opposite house, because your chart is kind of off balanced. You are always feeling comfortable. You are like a Cancer almost, and you're afraid to step out of your shell into your public life, which would be your 10th house. But really, that's what you would need to do. Her home life is great, you know. Her parents actually always gave her everything, and she still lives at home. She's comfortable with her life. She doesn't want to step out of her comfort zone. I mean, her parents bought her a house. I mean, her parents bought her car. Her parents have always provided her with everything that she may needed, in a way that's good up to a certain age. But at a certain age, you also have to step out and learn about responsibilities. You can't just rely on other people all your life, and that's where the fourth house can fuck you up if you have positive planets. So if you do have those positive planets in the fourth house, I would recommend that you stop relying on other people and, you know, face your fears and be uncomfortable for a while, because being uncomfortable is what actually is gonna help you learn, and that way it's not going to affect your relationships or anything else in your life for that matter, because you cannot be too codependent. And that's what happens when a lot of people with a lot of planets in the fourth house, they become a little bit too codependent, and they become too comfortable at home, and then they're afraid of facing the world. So then if you have bad planets in the fourth house, I mean, it could mean that you struggle recharging. You struggle with being comfortable. You're always afraid of what's going to happen next, or you don't face things with a lot of bad planets in the fourth house. You don't face things when shit hits the fan. You're scared to face things. And you know, it could also mean that you have a lot of, you know, problems within your family. Maybe you don't talk to your family. Again, thank you guys for watching my YouTube channel. My name is Diana, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.